I very well remember my first shot, and I remember how I was so nervous that my eye started twitching. They're like, come see the monitor, and my eye is twitching, and I'm like, I'm not doing this on purpose, guys. I don't know what to do to stop it. So he's like, always watch him be a background actor in a scene. You can always see something happening there. He said. So I would always say Bipatu from Talumala is one of those characters. I had to prepare a lot for Chandra, not just in terms of the emotional preparation, even the physical preparation for this was intense. None of these dialogues are correct. What have you guys said? Me and Ravi sir, both of us would just say whatever we want. He's like, Kriti is the only one who's given proper dialogues. There was this big director that called me, so you're only here for a little bit. He was imagining it as a series. I just want to talk to you about the biggest film that's ever happened in my life. I came in the 75th scene of that film. Somebody's like, she's overacting in this. I'm like, you didn't understand the character. This doesn't affect me in any way.
There's this actor made me do the interview and then went. So we dismantled and then I got a call saying, can we redo the interview? So I'm like, what? So
INDICUS Photo Durable Exterior Paint with Duro Color Technology.
Lucas, world's favorite jeweler, diamond wedding collection by Bride.
Aashik, India's #1 trusted gold buyers. We release pledged gold instant cash payment.
So when you're on the sets of Hello and the Akhil film directed by Vikram, do you remember your first shot?
I do.
Okay.
I very well remember my first shot, and I remember how I was so nervous that my eye started twitching. And they're like, your eye is twitching. I said, no, it's not. They're like, yes, it is. I'm like, no, it's not. They're like, come see the monitor. And my eye is twitching. And I'm like, I'm not doing this on purpose, guys. I don't know what to do to stop it. I still remember that scene. But
how did the twitching eye stop?
I think I just had to calm down a little. I think Ramya ma'am was the one who came up to me. She's like, no, chill. And she made me have a conversation with her and sort of calm down. And she was like, do one thing, just scream. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, just scream around everyone. And then I screamed, and then there was a certain inhibition that sort of went away, and then I think the twitch stopped.
So what is the, as somebody who's been acting for a while now, what would you say is the most difficult thing for an actor to kind of, who's like facing a camera? What becomes the, yes, of course you're learning your lines, you've gotten an idea of the character from the director, but still is there something that, what is the...
I mean, I feel like it's very different for each role, no? So, and it's really dependent on the meter of the film as well. There's certain things that I will find easier than other things. There are certain things that other actors will find
for you.
Easier for me, is easier for me, that is not as easy for them. I think it depends on our personality as well. I think how much ever the role connects with your personality, it gets a little easier. The further away it goes from your personality, I think it starts getting harder and harder.
Yeah. I just wanted to tell you, I forgot to tell you when you mentioned it, but I just loved the idea that Naslin is like, found what he wanted and he's really enjoying himself, because that image is giving me a lot of joy.
Yeah, you see why, and you're so happy for him because you see why he's so successful right now. It comes from everything that he's wanted and the happiness that he has just from being on set.
Can you tell me an instant of a role that you hit a wall because it was so outside of your personality that you really had to dig deep and find yourself in that character?
So I would always say Bipatu from Talumala is one of those characters, and it is still one of those characters that every actor has this one role that they wish they could redo. For me, it's always been Bipatu, because like I said, I warm up or I find myself somewhere in the middle of shoot, my character. I found this character after the film released. Yeah, and you can't really blame me. Anyone that watches the film will know that if you read the script, you're not going to fully understand this film. So in fact, I still tell Rahman and Muhsin this, because I'm like, I just wish you guys just gave me some idea of what this movie is so that I could have given so much more. I do feel like I could have done more justice to her.
Like, what is the thing that you think was missing? Because when I saw the film, I thought it was wild, So when I thought Tovino was fantastic,
I feel like we were pushed a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah. The wildness.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of Odum Kuthira and Lokah, what was it that you faced in terms of prepping, in terms of getting into that locking yourself? Because let me ask you one thing before that. Vineet told me once, Vineet Srinivasan, when he said that you asked him for voice note
Yeah.
for Hridayam
Yeah.
because you wanted to know how the character would speak
From
uh,
his perspective.
from his perspective.
Yeah.
So how did that help you?
Because he's a very soft-spoken person, sir. So I wasn't sure if he saw Nitya as very soft-spoken or whether he saw Nitya as me, as who I am. I'm a lot more louder. I'm a lot more animated. When I get excited, my voice screeches. So I wanted to understand whether he saw her as that, and I could tell from his voice notes that that's not how he saw her. He saw her as so much more matured. Like, so you'll see bits of me in there, but the general tone of the character is always softer, and she speaks in a little bit more of a bassier voice and all of that stuff. So it was more for me to understand that. I feel like sometimes when directors try to tell me what they want, again, there's some miscommunication that happens, but when they try to enact it, especially someone who is an actor like Mini Chata, when they try to enact her, I'm able to understand her a lot more. So that's why I kind of asked for those voice notes. I didn't ask for Lokah or for Odum Kuthira because I felt that it wouldn't have really helped the character as much. But again, voice notes also helped me with the language because, like I told you, Malayalam isn't it is my mother tongue, but it isn't the language that I'm most comfortable with.
So with Altaf, you just followed whatever Altaf wanted you to do. What did you bring something of your own into?
Yeah, so both films are very funny because the processes were completely different. Like I said, Chandra was so much more restrained, and Dominic's vision was so specific that, I mean, he's been living with this character for so long. He knew how she walks, how she moves, how she looks at people. Like I said, there were moments where he was like, don't blink. And there was a certain sort of unnaturalism that the character required. Whereas Nidhi from Odum Kuthira was the exact opposite. Yeah. And the process so I had to prepare a lot for Chandra, not just in terms of the emotional preparation, even the physical preparation for this was intense. I mean, obviously you're playing a superhero, you need to know how to fight and all of that. This one, when I asked Altaf ka how I should prepare, he's like, prepare? No.
Yeah,
No. He's like, nobody's preparing. He didn't even give me dialogues because he was afraid I would learn the dialogues and come.
How unnerving was that?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So he was like, this is not the kind of film that I want my actors to prepare for. I want you all to work off each other's energies on set. And if you prepare, you will be locked in. He's like, I don't want you to be locked in. I want you all to vibe off each other and figure this out. So that was his process. And like I said, every time Fahad and I went up to him with a doubt, he'd be like, isn't logic on the He's like, don't look at logic for all of this. Just follow. So we were like, okay. But he was also the kind of director that was his first take is never directed. His first take is never directed. He will just tell us to do whatever we want because he wants to see what we can bring to the character. If he likes it or he thinks it's something he can use, he will keep it. Otherwise, he'll start directing us.
And then he'll say, fine tune this.
Yeah. But his first take is never directed. He's like, just, this is the scene, go do.
Like, okay, let's say day 1 is a little unnerving. By day 10, do you get used to the fact that, okay, this is what it's going to be like. I'm not going to have dialogues. I'm going to have to learn them on the set. Does that become easier?
Yes and no, maybe. I don't think it'll ever become easier for me to go confidently to set working on, with a language that I'm not very comfortable with. If this was Tamil, I think I could have. For Genie, I was very confident. Genie was the opposite. I never learned my dialogues at all. I would go there and I would give my lines. And Kriti was with us. So she would be the padibs. She would learn all of her lines and come. And I was like, I know what this feels like. And it was really funny because when we were dubbing the film, our director, Boo, he used to say, none of these dialogues are correct. What have you guys said? Me and Ravi sir, both of us would just say whatever we want. He's like, Kriti is the only one who's given proper dialogues. He's like, I can't even look at the script when I'm dubbing. Y'all say whatever you've said. So that was a fun process for me because it just felt so much more comfortable and easy to improvise.
No, Kalyani, in Hridayam, for instance, Darshana has the more dramatic role, or I think she even has the bigger role.
I think I've always said I think she is the
Yeah.
soul of the film.
Yeah, and now in Genie, you have Vamika Gavi and Kriti Shetty as your co-stars, and of course Ravi Mohan is the hero. So you're generally, are you comfortable with sharing space in movies?
Always, so
Yeah.
for me, it's always just been. And I remember there was I'm not going to say who it was, but there was this big director that called me for a film. He hadn't watched them, and he said there are a few other actresses in this film, and you're only here for a little bit. He was imagining it as a series. So he was like, but in the second film you'll be there, but in the first, this is what it is. Will you be comfortable? I said, sir, I just want to talk to you about the biggest film that's ever happened in my life, that's given me the most for me in my career. I came in the 75th scene of that film, and I was there for maybe about half an hour in that film. And it did so much more for me than any other film I have done so far has. And so I don't believe in this whole screen space, screen time thing. For me, as long as the character works and the character connects with me, or I think will connect with the audience, I'll be more than happy to do it. So he was surprised that I said that, but that's the honest truth.
Right. But one thing I've always liked about your acting on screen is the way you do reaction shots. It's like a, because when you're doing dialogue, you have a crutch, you have words, and you can emote according to the words, or you can use your hands according to your words. But when somebody else is talking and you're listening or something like that, and I think I started noticing this from Hridayam, and your reaction shots are very, very good.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, like do you, I mean, I know this is a vague question, but is there something that you do when you're listening to someone? Is that's something that you just try to be in the moment?
It's more or less whether I'm locked in or not. If I'm not locked into the moment, it's very obvious.
Okay.
But that's always what Dad's told me. Again, I keep saying he doesn't advise me. There's small advices that come here and there. But it's the age-old advice for acting. Acting is about reacting.
Right.
So he's always told me that as well. So he's always said, make sure, even if you're in the background, he said, always look at what my dad's prime example or go-to example is Mohanlal sir. So he's like, always watch him be a background actor in a scene. He said, just don't watch him in his scenes where he's performing. Watch him whenever he's a background actor. You can always see something happening there. He said, make sure that that's what you also focus on when you perform.
What's your favorite Mohanlal film? I know there are tons, but...
So is that even possible?
Yeah, but pick one.
I don't even know if
Off
it's
the top of
possible
your head.
to... I can't speak about performance because, like I said, there's such a wide range. But as a kid, the film that I loved most was Kilakam. And I absolutely... And I think that's also...
It's such a joyous film.
Exactly.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in a while though, but I remember it being such a...
Even just the opening sequence of that film just makes me smile.
Yeah. And so when you see those films today, do you watch them?
Yeah, of course.
So when you see them from today's lens, are you still able to enjoy them, or do you find certain parts like little old-fashioned or something like that? I'm not talking about from a woke sense or a gendered sense, because the times are different.
Of course.
I'm just talking about enjoyment.
So I'll tell you what I've noticed. If it's a film I've seen before that I'm rewatching, there is the factor of nostalgia that kicks in where I'm just honestly seeing even more positives in the film, or I'm just connecting with it the same way that I used to.
Right.
But I have noticed that when I watch a film from back then that I've not seen before, I'm like, oh, this doesn't really connect with me, or this doesn't really, it doesn't work for me the way that it probably worked for other people. So it is an interesting comparison, because I think nostalgia plays so much into that. Even the way that we see certain characters and certain actors and all of that, I think nostalgia plays such a big role. I had somebody come up to me the other day and they were like, oh, the actors that we had before, we don't have them today. I said, I don't think you understand, one, how much nostalgia plays a role in that. And the second thing is, I don't know if you know every actor. I don't think you know their entire filmography in order to say that they've been brilliant in every film. What my dad's always said is, the actors back then were given the liberty to explore
Yeah.
without judgment. And that's how they refined and found their limits and became actors. Actors are created. People become actors. You're
Yeah.
not born an actor. Every actor has their limitations. But back then, they had the liberty to explore and fine-tune their performances. Today, I don't think we have that liberty. Everything, like I said, is looked at through a very specific lens, and no one's given the freedom to explore.
You know, you're saying that you're not allowed to explore because there's always scrutiny on the thing. But isn't it possible at some point to say, listen, I'm going to shut this out and only concentrate on the work? Is that ever possible?
I think that is possible, but somewhere the humanness in us also comes into play here. We're all human, and I think, at least as a generation, I don't know, someone told me that the younger generation has this problem. We tend to overthink about what too many people
I think
or say.
overthinking is
Yeah.
a problem with many people whose job is to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So in whatever way.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I hear people say, oh, I shut it out and I don't let it bother me. I've never fully believed them. So I don't know what to say to that.
You don't believe that? You know, there's this actor. I'm not saying who it is, obviously, but they said that they were, they made me do the interview, and then went. So we dismantled, and then I got a call saying, "Can we redo the interview?"
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, what? So then they thought this over in their mind, overthinking or whatever it is.
So, and I don't think it's overthinking. It never used to happen to me. It happens after experience of seeing something go wrong.
Yeah. Are we going to redo this interview?
I hope not.
So then I said, what happened? And then they said that, I know what kind of comments are going to come for this interview under you. I said, but why do you even look at that? I said,
Yeah.
well, then you shut down the comments. If you don't want me to look at it, then shut down the comments of YouTube. So that
We're human, no, sir.
But I'm like, see, when you know that you are kind of person, see, for example, I was talking to Darshana the other day, and she said she just has a blast reading all these, trolley kind of comments because she's kind of, but I think she is also that way.
Yeah. I mean, see, it's not that I take it to heart. It's just that I feel misunderstood, and I think that's where the issue comes. Whenever something is real and I'm like, oh wow, they've understood me and this is hilarious, I laugh. But when I feel misunderstood, that's when that's when I start questioning things. That's when I start overthinking.
But do you feel the need to tell them this is not the case?
No, I've never clarified. That's something I don't feel I'm not insecure enough to feel like I need to clarify things. It's just I'm like, okay, that happened, then just don't make sure that doesn't happen again. That's all.
So I've also heard you say that you're a very sensitive and emotional person. So when this sort of thing comes your way, unwarranted feedback comes your way, does it stick in your mind for a while?
I think what's good is it sticks in my mind in a way that I actually try to see if it's constructive criticism that I can work on. What's really nice, no sir, is the people say that the internet is a very toxic place, but like what my dad said, my dad never had that kind of connection to an audience before, but we do. It's so easy for us to see what the audience genuinely think today. I just have to go into my DMs after a film's release. I don't have to rely on posters. I don't have to rely on paid tweets. I don't have to rely on any of that stuff. I will know whether something worked or not just by going on my DMs. There's enough people willing to tell me whether a character worked, whether a character didn't work. And I think that kind of feedback is exactly what I need. So for me, I would never say that this is something that, oh, I should shut off. I will never be that person that's like, oh, shut off the comments, because the comments are where I learn. I think the comments are where us as an actor, nobody in our industry before has had this kind of access. And I feel like we should utilize it.
So it is a privilege, I agree, because, technology is right at your fingertips and it's giving you direct feedback. But you think the feedback is useful when it comes from a position of taste? Because some people may like a certain kind of actor, certain people may not like a certain kind of acting, and that could determine the evaluation of your performance. Whereas Altaf or Dominic, when they're directing you in Lokah or Odum Kuthira, they know exactly what they want. So you're delivering for them.
Yeah.
isn't that the real?
Oh, absolutely. But that's when you also start knowing what to take and what not to take, right? So that's why I said I check to see if it's constructive criticism that I can use. If someone's like, oh, I didn't like her in this, I'm like, what can I do with that?
Yeah, yeah.
Or, oh, she overacted in this, I'm like, you didn't understand the character. So I'm aware enough to know what criticism I should take and what I shouldn't. But it's not that I don't look at them. I do look at them. And some of them do not. Like I said, if somebody's like, oh, she's overacting in this, I'm like, you didn't understand the character. This doesn't affect me in any way. But at the same time, if someone's like, hey, something like this, I feel this. There are people that say that. They'll be like, in this particular scene, what I felt was this, and maybe if you had explored it in this way, it would have been more interesting. I'd be like, oh, that's interesting. I never thought of it that way. Maybe let me put that into the next role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you do something like Tallumala, you just said that like it was you wish you'd push yourself more, right? But does that impact the way you are on the sets and acting? Is it like you're a little off in that movie while you're on the sets? Because you don't look that way on screen, but in your head, are you a little like, I'm still not sure what I'm doing?
No. While I'm doing it, I'm usually sure. It's just that, like I said, it takes some time for me to like be like, ooh, this is the exact meter of the character. I felt like I could have pushed her a lot more though.
Okay.
But when I was doing it, I wasn't unsure. Like you said, that would have easily come across on screen if I was unsure.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay, I don't know if you can answer this, but is there a character that you can like apart from, like that you felt that you totally nailed?
I feel yes. There have been certain criticisms that came towards that character, but again, it went towards I don't think you understood the character zone, and it was those comments were put in the trash can. There's a film called Shesham Michael Fatima where I was a female commentator, and I feel for what the role was, I did it as much justice as anyone else could. I feel like I nailed the character. I gave it my all. I worked on the slang, all of that. I'm sure people that would have been like, this is an irritating character because she talks a lot in the film, and that's the character. They call her Chalambachi, which is somebody who talks a lot. I'm like, well, you clearly didn't understand the character enough. So maybe that one is what I would say.
And there's this other question I have about, you did mention that you come from a place of privilege. You've grown up around all these people, especially Mohanlal. Your father's done an incredible number of films with him, and therefore his son Pranav. So when you're acting with either Mohanlal or Pranav or Bro Daddy or Hridayam, does it take a while to kind of break that personal equation and get into the character?
It definitely does, but I think it really helped in Hridayam. I really think so much of why the film worked with regards to me and Pranav was the fact that we were we've always been comfortable around each other. We could invade each other's spaces like how a real couple would without worrying about what the other person would feel or whether the other person would feel off about it, because we've just been so comfortable with each other. And I think that really helped the film. With Mohanlal sir, it's so weird to call him that, but I've been calling him Lal Mama all my life. But with him, it was really funny because we're not father-daughter in the film, right? So there are moments where I still remember there's this one scene where I was a little distraught and he gives me a hug, and I'm still a little distraught, but I take that hug in a warm way and say thank you or whatever. I hugged him in that shot the way I actually hug him, which is like with so much embrace. And then Rajat and Prithviraj was like, that's not the hug. And I'm like, oh, sorry. So those moments were definitely there in that film, for sure.
Where you cross the line.
Yeah.
What about your journey in Tamil cinema? It's kind of been a little, the roles have been a little...
spaced out is the word you would use.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what word to use.
It's been spaced out. Yeah. So the thing with that, again, like I said, I'd rather give my all to whatever I'm doing at the moment. And we spent so much time, even Genie, we shot, when the film comes out, if the version that I was narrated comes out, you'll know why so much of time was spent on that role. It's the character is there from beginning till end. Again, the version that I heard. So I'd rather do a role like that once in a while than at this moment be a part of every film that comes to me. Yeah.
Right. And do you find like Lokah is, for the lack of a better word, a women-oriented film, right? It's like a female superhero kind of a thing. Do you find those kinds of roles coming your way more often now?
Yes and no. But as much as people do think Lokah is my film, yes, in the most basic sense, it is a female-centric film. But what they're trying to do with it is so much more. It is so much more beyond. So I've always said I'm still just a character in this film. Even though the story is about my character, it's really a character amongst so many others in this film.
Yeah.
And again, part of the NDA, I'm not allowed to talk about it, but I think when you watch, you'll realize that this is just a small fragment of everything that they've imagined.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, when I say that, I mean, like, for example, when you see Ullurku, you know that it's the story of Urvashi and Parvati, but of course there are other characters around them. So it's not just them.
Yeah.
But the point is that it's two very strong women. It's about two very strong women.
Yeah.
Like, as in, not strong as in strength,
Yeah.
but, like, well etched out. That's
Resilient
what I mean.
women.
Yeah, like that. So when that kind of, you feel like, or are you seeking out those kinds of...
Not really. In fact, when Chandra came to me, there was just all kinds of insecurity that flooded my thoughts. I didn't believe I had the physicality, the strength, or the aura that this character needed to pull her off. So it's not at all what I was seeking or searching for. It came my way, and I felt that there's a reason for this to come to me, and I can't say no to something like this. So I told myself, whatever I can do, I will do to make this character come to life. And that's what I've done. But never in my life did I think I would be playing a superhero.
I can actually feel you going over the NDA in your head as you're giving this
reply. I'm like, like, what can I say and what can I not say?
Yeah,
yes,
this is like a balancing act.
Yeah.
And so to wrap up, I think one of the things I heard was that you're good with magic.
Let me just put it this way. My brother is a VFX supervisor. That's all I'd like to say.
So you're like, you actually do magic tricks.
I like doing them, but see, sir, the internet is a highlight reel. I have failed on most of those attempts 10,000 times.
Right.
Even when if I was going to do a trick for you also, I feel like 90% of the time I would fail.
Like what kind of tricks?
I like card tricks a lot.
Okay, so like guess which number?
Yeah, guess which, and then a couple of like, is this your card? Just a couple of things like that. Turning the card, all of those things. But
what has that got to do with your brother being a VFX supervisor?
I'm not gonna go more into that. Just think of what I mean by
okay, this is the thing I'm taking away.
highlighting.
How has Kalyani's facility with magic got to do? What has it got to do with a
VFX.
brother being a VFX
Yeah.
supervisor? Okay, that I'll dig into
Yeah.
that. Next time we meet, I'll get you the answer.
Yeah. If you watch the tricks again, you'll know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. I'm just going to leave you and put you on the spot. Which do I watch first, Odum Kuthira or Lokah? So
What are you in the mood for? That's what I'll have to ask you. It really depends on your mood. One is this intense...
no, I'm going to have to watch both.
So then it won't matter. How does the order matter? You're going to like the
tell
film
me
either
what.
way.
It's just like a...
The order won't matter. Watch Hriday Purvam. The order doesn't matter as long
Actually,
as you watch
it's a
all films.
tough thing,
Yeah.
because usually you get a bunch of movies and then there are some that you want to watch immediately. Here
Yeah.
it's like all three you want to watch.
I don't think the order
And
matters.
there's another one as well. Yeah, so there's like a multi.
No, multis are coming this time. It's coming. I
Oh,
think
it's
they
a little
pushed it
later?
release, yeah.
It's been pushed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this basically Hriday Purvam, Odum Kuthira and Lokah.
And Maine Pyar Kiya. It's
Yeah. So
another-
that's like your 50% of Onam is yours. That's nice.
I mean,
you
let's
don't
just say that they're going to be forced to watch my face no matter what.
that's a nice thing, I think.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Kalyani.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All the best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
INDICUS Photo Durable Exterior Paint with Duro Color Technology.
Joyalica's world's favorite jeweler diamond wedding collection by Pride.
Aashik, India's #1 trusted gold buyers. We release pledged gold instant cash payment.